with the current state of like dating and like relationships wise, right? Like what do you guys see as like the ideal balance? Like to make things actually function and work? Because a lot of stuff just ain't working. Like
With
you just look
regards
at
to
it,
what?
it ain't working.
Yeah.
In,
The
in
car don't.
regards to like relationship or like a family parental area?
I'm talking about like let's just start with just a relationship in general because the car ain't starting. It's sitting in the driveway. Like
Okay,
they
fair enough.
ain't even left.
I mean,
I,
It
it
ain't
is
I
trying
just
to
asked because
start.
like there's a different
and then it
conversation
just
there
the car
between
just dies
parents
right
and
It's
the
there.
The
trying to
sad part
start
is I don't even know how to
here.
answer this. That's the sad part.
Let's let
I
Heather go
know.
first.
Yeah. Y'all are. I have
Heather,
something. Y'all
I ain't
gonna
heard
judge
from
me.
you.
For this.
I'm let ready Heather for go this first.
One.
Said she ready.
Yeah, I was waiting for the question. So
Yes, ma'am.
for me, honestly, so let me just in a world where on social media, everybody, I have like I don't want to say I have a vendetta, but I feel like sometimes I feel some type of way about people boosting their relationship advice on Twitter and on Instagram and stuff because so many people follow what other people say on social media, but don't have their own like thoughts of what a healthy relationship looks like. It is so important for people to know what is a healthy relationship. Start there. First of all, are you healthy? Are you good to go? Mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally, are you available for someone else? Do you want to invest yourself into somebody else? Because that's what it is, an investment. You can't just hop
Yes.
in there and be like, yeah, let's Netflix and chill every day. I hate being single these days because I can't tell you how many times I have to explain to a guy that a relationship is way more than just chilling and having sex and
Yeah.
going on dates and having a great time. Like, yeah, that's great, but when the shit hits the fan, like you need to be there. I need to be able to talk to you about what's going on. So to answer your question, as far as balance is concerned, what that looks like for me after going through multiple trials and tribulations. um, so I've been single for a hot minute, but I was married before. But me and my ex, we just did not know what a healthy relationship looked like. We thought we were just in love and we were just fighting for love and thinking that we were doing the right things, but not even knowing like what the end goal was supposed to look like. And, how are we going to work towards that together? So as long as you have commitment, trust, and if both people are willing to compromise, both people or all people, considering what you want to do, if all people are intentional and they're clear about what they want and what they don't want, everybody abides by their each other's boundaries and are working towards the same goal. Which I don't know if people are, if they want to date to marry or if they want to just date, for a certain amount of time, whatever. I think that that's the balance. But I think it's important that people identify what they really want and what they don't want and be intentional about that and have a healthy relationship. Like I can't stress enough. I really think it's important for people to know what that is. But most people can't even explore what that looks like until they get out there and just start dating. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
There is something that you said during that conversation that made me think of what I think needs to happen. I just think a lot of people need to heal, period. Like, there's a lot of
Yes.
damaged people walking
Yes.
around here and they're not like doing the self work to get to the root of why your
Mhm.
relationships keep failing, why you keep attracting a certain person, why it didn't work out for you. And so instead, a lot of people are
Mhm.
like, after they're hurt, they either A, don't want to date anymore, so just like, I'm going to be single forever, and they put the wall up like Larry
Mhm.
was talking about, or
Yeah.
B, like they go into the next relationship and they take all their damage with them and they put it all on the next person because they didn't deal with it, and they expect you
Yeah.
to be their
It's
person
very common.
to heal them
No,
instead of
no
actually going to a
self-reflection.
counselor, or maybe you just need to be single for a little bit while you heal, like, or sometimes it's something deeper than that. Like me, I've been single for a hot minute too, but while I've been single,
Yeah.
I have discovered that there's certain things
Bless
about
you.
me that I have, and it's not even like, it could be, there's certain triggers that I had that I didn't realize I had that would cause me to shut down and like give up on relationships. And I didn't realize I was doing it because it goes back to the way I was raised, the way my mother raised me, and then her traumas and her Grandmother's trauma.
Product of
You
your
know, like,
environment.
but I had to work on myself to realize that I had all of those issues to deal with it. And now I know that when I get in a relationship again, I'm actually ready and I'm gonna
Right.
be 100% in it because I'm actually healed. But people aren't taking the time to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, good
Yes,
on you
ma'am.
for identifying that you needed to heal and then taking the time to love yourself and work on yourself so that you can get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm good now. Now
Yeah.
I can pursue somebody
Yes.
else, or now I can let somebody pursue me. I agree with that. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I feel like some people don't know that they're having a trauma response when they're in a
Yes.
relationship, and they just. And I'm so glad you said that, because in my last relationship, I also noticed that I definitely had a lot of different trauma responses, and it wasn't until I did go to therapy and identified like the kind of conversations I was having that was triggering me to cause me to like just spaz the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized like, okay, um, I come from a household where my father was abusive, and I didn't realize I was carrying that weight. Like things had gotten different from my parents, and they were able to amend their
Mm-hmm.
relationship, but I still carried that weight with me. And then it wasn't until I got into a serious relationship really deep where I was like, oh wait, I'm still like not okay with what happened, and I spaz out as soon as the guy just raises their voice. Like I can't even take that. So then I was like, we might need to work on that, because when you have certain
Mhm.
conversations and I'm just getting heated and blowing up when we're not even like halfway through the conversation yet, and it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a little unhealthy. So let's work on that. People need to identify that, but you don't. It's one of those things you may not know until you're in it, and it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely comment. I definitely see like when it comes to terms to the dating scene and social media, Twitter, Instagram, I see the most relationship advice is little photographs with the quotes underneath about what the most toxic people have the most softest of quotes. I'm like, that's not even how it runs. We're still going to that. So I
it's true.
definitely feel like it's a matter of like it's a balance of like they're scared to like lose all the power that they just gained. It's almost like a power issue. I almost see. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
man doesn't want to lose the independence because they might have to rely on somebody, or the man doesn't feel like he's too soft sometimes, or nah, I'm a real nigga. I'm like, nah. It's not even really about that. It definitely comes down to compromise because I definitely had to learn about that a lot. One of the biggest issues when I first started getting married, like in the first year to a couple years down the line, I didn't know how to like ask for help or, hey, get a little more compromising, like, hey, I will do this. Or when it comes to terms of just listening to arguments, period, because I've heard of folks who would get just divorced just off the pure fact of they had an argument. Like they didn't want to admit to be wrong. And they were like, I'd rather leave the relationship. I want to protect my peace. Are you protecting your peace? Or are you actually listening? You're not listening to the subject at hand because you're not
Mm-hmm.
listening to what's being said. Or you're not listening to what the other person has to say. Because the stuff that you think might be bitchy is the reason why that's one of the critical reasons why the relationship might fall. And I've definitely done that before, 100%. And I had to definitely correct that. And it's almost like a power issue. Like I just got into a discussion with somebody the other day about them being in a relationship and it's very one sided. I'm like, have you talked to the person? Are they willing to work on it, or they just push the stuff to the side for another day? Because you can't always push the problems to the side like a bookmark. Like, I'll come back to it. Well, you're really not. So
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely
Mhm.
Right.
did that before. Like
Absolutely.
Agreed.
yeah, and it's kind of wild that you know it's almost like a power issue, or even like I don't even really consider like would you consider that to be like a submissive issue or a compromising issue at that moment? That's the part I'm trying to figure out
Right.
myself. So
Control
that's
is really what. Yeah,
yeah.
that's very true.
Yeah.
Control. A lot of people want to be in
Mm-hmm.
control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to kind of jump on Larry, because like he brings up like a big point like in the realm of like being a man, or I guess I'll individualize it. As myself, I've felt this is like having some level of like emotional intelligence and connection into certain feelings and what it means to be frustrated, upset, disappointed, anxiety. Like I personally deal with like a lot of anxiety. Like I'm medicated for anxiety because I would get it so bad. And I go to therapy, and I've also learned about what like triggers me. I have a big problem with authority and people trying to control me. That seems to be an instant trigger for me.
Me
That
too.
like anybody like wants to like could just excuse me. That anybody wants to really want to like talk down to me or like control any given situation or direct what I'm trying to do in life. Like I've had situations recently where I've explained my goals to somebody and they've shut me down. And that like, oh no, this isn't gonna work. What are you gonna do for money? Hey, like why can't we be lifting for each other? And that was very frustrating. Now, in saying that and learning from therapy and other people's perspectives, I've learned to step back from that feeling of, like sensing his judgment, because I also got to think to myself, he probably didn't mean it that way. He was just asking for my backup plan. Things happen. What if shit hits the fan? What are you going to do? In that regard, I took a step back from that anger or to realize, oh, okay, he doesn't really know me like that. He doesn't know my past and what I'm capable of. I got like not everything is worth arguing about, no matter how right you are. Because like Larry said, like you got to protect your peace. Like I think men in general, well, just need to go to like therapy more often, because we just are not connected to those feelings and what they mean. Because there's nothing wrong with being angry or upset. It's just how you deal with it and how you vocalize it.
Yes.
But that's all I wanted to say.
Yes.
Well, my relationship. So I am single. I was married. I've been divorced for 2 years, and my marriage ended due to infidelity, but also communication issues on both ends. And I have found that I am difficult to communicate with, depending on the person. But I also found that I actually am able to express myself easier to women. I feel safe. I feel safer having conversations with women. And I also noticed that I have a couple kinks, y'all. Like, I'm into voyeurism. Like,
I don't even know what that
this
is.
is live. Okay.
I really don't even know what it is. I'm just on my head.
I was like,
I'll Google it later.
So there's like several layers
I'm
of
looking it up.
voyeurism.
I'll Google it later.
Right. Well, I'll explain. So it's several layers of voyeurism. Like some people like to watch their partner engage in activity, sexual activity.
Like a cut.
Other women, for me, I like to see my man like flirt with women, or he could kiss a woman. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm not possessive. I'm not jealous. It does not bother me. I would actually love to be in a polyamorous relationship. I want a girlfriend and a boyfriend. I want us to all be together and like have a family together and like have our finances together and just I would like the best of both worlds.
You sound greedy.
leave some for the rest of
Not
us.
greedy.
Crying.
I want it all.
I'm just teasing.
But
I'm just teasing.
you like what you like, and you deserve that. And since you know you can't date somebody who does not want the same thing as you. And it's good that you identify that you're going to. I think that's another problem with dating today. A lot of people aren't staying up front what their intentions are. So they just go into it and assume that you're on the same page. And then 3 months into it, they're like, oh, wait a minute. So you mean you don't like polyamorous? Wait a minute. So you don't want to stay home and take care of the kids while I
Look at
work?
this dude on the side the entire time.
But it's funny because some people believe that they're okay with it until they see. Like, most guys would be like, oh yeah, I would love for my girl to have a girlfriend, until your girlfriend is more into the other girl than you, right? Then you get jealous, like, why you cuddle with her more than you cuddle with me? Well, it's like,
you're like, damn, I'm the side bitch.
Like, I know. I like
am
that.
crying.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
So yeah,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
I would
Wait,
say
wait.
I think that, huh?
Dr.
Oh,
DL was
I
Or
would.
DL unmuted.
Oh, he lit up. He did his thing.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead,
y'all be
bro.
on it. Y'all
I
be
want to
on
hear
it because I
him.
did not see it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I want to take it a step back and go on a macro level, right? And so to deal with dating, I think both men and women need to have a sit down and have a conversation about if monogamy can go into the 21st century. There are not enough heterosexual men on the planet for every woman that's heterosexual to have one. It's just not enough. If you take all of them out of jail, if you women are outnumbering men. Then when we throw in qualities of attraction, social status, and these other kind of things that go into the dating process, it's going to become even less for heterosexual women. And so when you all were talking about this idea of the side chick, and especially within the African American community, I've been labeled a quote unquote good black man, right? And in this quote of being a good black man, most like my money does not know it has value. I know I have value and I get to spend it as much as I want and never lose value. So I could, especially since I wasn't a womanizer when I was younger, that reputation now sticks with me. So even if I do a woman dirty dog bad, right? I would still have the label of being a good black man because of my CV, because of my reputation. And so we got to have
Okay.
conversation because I would have a woman knowing I'm in a relationship that would then say, I'll be your Monday chick. I'd rather have you on Monday than have no man all week long. Right. And so
Ooh,
we got to have a conversation because if we make it into a competition,
that ain't me.
right? But if you make it into a competition, then I'm not telling you that monogamy is not the right way, right? I'm not saying everybody should be polyamorous. I'm saying we got to have the conversation out loud because that way everyone's on the same page. Because, like I said, what you don't know is women do approach men even when they know they're together,
That's true.
Oh, it does happen.
right? Married together,
It
Oh
does.
yeah.
and even in inappropriate relationships, right? And so,
Mhm.
like, I have students that would like give it to me one time. That's all I want, right? And so,
What?
yeah, that's a whole
Give
nother
it to me
conversation.
one time.
That ain't what this
I'm
This
episode about,
this
dead.
some Pornhub shit.
right? And
What are you
so,
doing, step professor?
well, once again, I got the quality of being a good black man with a level of maturity that is not about anger and all this other kind of stuff that is not role model or seen, and especially in my packaging. And so all of a sudden I then become other people's ideal, not ideal, but ideal of what it means to be a man. And so we need to have out loud conversations. If monogamy is a thing, then we have to then tell some women that you're going to end up without one, right? And that is fine. And that being fine, that your life is then not defined by being a wife and being a mother in the sense of having a husband and all these other kind of things. But as long as we have these ideas, there's always going to be a line of women for any person that is going to be any man that's going to be seen as a good man, period. And so we got to have the conversation if monogamy is useful in the 21st century. And then if we decide it is, then we got to make the rules for it, right? If we then decide that it's not, then we need to work into that world. But I don't have the answer on which way we should go. I'm saying we should have the conversation because it's being had. It's just that, especially for women, y'all not being a part of the conversation.
So
You're a little person too.
I was
Yeah,
watching
go ahead.
something and they were talking about they were talking like men aren't being taught how to be monogamous. Like a lot of men when they're younger are praised, they're praised to go out and be with multiple women, right? So when it's time for them to be married and be in a monogamous relationship, they don't know how. And when they get with that one woman, because men are programmed, or people in general are programmed off their memory, right? So I'm with my one chick. If I'm a dude, I'm with my one chick. I'm with my wife, and we doing it. But I'm just like, dang, she don't ride me like how Sheila used to ride it, right? So then it's just like, but you expect for right, but you expect for your wife to be able to fulfill you. But you say she would have been able to fulfill you had
What
you
did Sheila do
not.
to you?
That's what I'm trying to know. No.
Yeah.
But she would have fulfilled you had you not have been with so many women in your past. You know what I'm saying? So I personally, that's
I do
another
have
reason why I'm
friends.
interested in being polyamorous.
Hold on.
But
Okay. So hold on, real quick. So
I want to add.
with that, so wait. So hold on. So with that, all right. So I feel that to a degree, but like that curiosity is always going to be there. Like even if one person was just with one person the entire time, that curiosity is going to literally kill that relationship. Like I've literally seen like, all we've been with is each other, married each other out of high school, then they've been together for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden infidelity. And
it's not
not that it's justified. Not that it's justified.
Not that it's justified. I'm not saying bruh does it one time and then it turns into like 50 real quick.
Yeah, but it's not.
It is spiral because he had an unhealthy. He doesn't have a healthy. He never developed a healthy relationship with sex in general. Like all he knew.
But it's not. It's not the curiosity.
Once he got other, huh?
No,
but that's what I'm saying. It's not the curiosity, it's the comparison. Because at this point, you're searching for fulfillment. So again, Sheila used to do this, right? And then you had other women that. So now at this point, you're searching for fulfillment that you used to get from multiple women, and now you expecting for this one woman to fulfill you in all these areas. I'm sorry, what do you have to say?
But hold on.
I'm gonna forget it. I'm saying.
Hold on.
No,
I've been letting y'all rock. Hold on. I've been letting y'all rock. So, but with that said, though, they still gonna hear them stories. They still gonna know them situations. Like, bruh gonna live a life. You know what I'm saying? He got other brothers. You know what I'm saying? They tell him, oh man, last night when I was with Sally, you know what I'm saying? She did this. You know what I'm saying?
That highlights the
problem.
That
goes back to what Dr. Dio said when he said,
hold on.
How are we going to teach monogamy? Well, then now you have to move forward. If we're all talking about this and we're all saying, you know, maybe men shouldn't be so explorative when they're young, then now we got to raise kids not to be exploring.
Okay. Let's go.
Here's my thoughts on it.
Okay? We've already been raising kids to be not explorative.
Let's go.
No, because we definitely have TV shows like Euphoria. They has dicks on TV.
What I'm saying is we've already been trying to raise. They already previous generations were trying to raise kids to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you marry her, blah 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 blah, and we see what we got. We got today.
No, they're no, because let Char go first. Go ahead, Char.
Please.
So I was just having this conversation with some friends, and I think what it comes down to is a lot of men think that they have to get married. They think it's what they're supposed to do. So they end up marrying Sheila, whatever her name is, and Sheila's not a freak in the bed. She don't even do the stuff you want to do in the bed. But instead of having this conversation or picking the one who actually is sexually compatible with him, he ends up marrying her and cheating on her because she never was satisfying him in the first place. So I think that we need to have a conversation of why men are getting married in the first place when they never went to get married. They just think they were just doing what they were told to do.
Because it's a man's primary core to protect, provide, and profess. Like men need that in their lives. In some cases, for men, they need purpose. And some men, like my grandfather, got married just to have a woman next to him for sexual pleasure.
Right, but they married.
Yeah, so it's just like he felt like he needed to. He felt like it was at this age. He felt like he had the financial means to be able to be married. He wanted a family, and he also wanted to have the access. He didn't want to be in the streets no more. But those are reasons why men get married.
That's what I'm saying. They're not getting married for the right decisions. Yeah,
true. But that's the most logical reason. I feel like that's a very logical. It's messed up as it sounds. If you break it down from a logical standpoint, it slightly makes sense. Everybody don't marry for love.
No, companionship even. Like sometimes it's just because people are lonely. That was my dad. My dad's final marriage recently. He dead ass told this woman that like he's just marrying for companionship and taxes. Dead ass.
It happened. And she said, "Yeah, I'm cool with that."
She's like, me
No,
too.
because like
There
her
is
her
no-
own personal kink, if we want to add kinks into stuff, is she's a very wealthy woman. So like she enjoys like paying out money to people. Oh, like that's what she gets off on. Like so like I mean like I'm airing out people's business, but like I don't they're so
Yeah, you
fucking
should totally
goofy. I don't give a
Don't
respect what
fuck.
she
got names.
said.
It don't matter.
I mean, you just
Yeah.
like that new TikTok trend, man. They walling on there, man.
Yeah.
They telling all their
I also
fellas
wanted to go
at
ahead
the
and say
table. I'm like,
too.
yo, go ahead, Don.
Yeah, like I also want to go ahead and say, like, do you guys, because I feel this way. Hey, I feel like more people need to explore their sexuality personally. Is
Absolutely.
Yes.
that I think dating around should be more acceptable for all parties involved, not just men. Like I think women should date around and explore their own sexuality as well, because some women don't even know how to like properly please themselves. Oh,
Mhm.
like that sounds fucked up, but it's true.
It's real.
That is
Okay,
very
okay,
true.
wait,
True.
So
I'm
Lee, I got a
indifferent.
question. I got a question for you. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about the dudes that don't want their woman to have been around with everybody? Because
That ain't none
That's
of your
that's
that's
still
their
a
business.
thing
personal
too.
problem.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
give a
no.
fuck
But
Let's
about
no,
those
talk
but
about
dudes.
I was
it.
saying,
Let's
it
talk
wasn't
about
really.
it.
Those guys.
Let's
I don't
talk
give a fuck.
about it.
It's still a mindset too. I'm
Are you
just
guys?
saying, like, I'm not saying I
Yeah.
agree with it, but I'm just saying, like, that's still a mindset.
Dr.
You
DL he unmuted himself.
Doctor,
Yeah.
yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
Dr. Dio.
I was the way you was framing it, right? You framed it that she was with everybody, whereas the guy was being curious, but she was with everybody, right? And so, but young people talk about bodies, right? And how many bodies
Yep.
Mhm.
that she has on her. When we don't put that into any kind of context for men, and
Right? We don't.
we're taught that women are to be chaste and that they are not sexually aggressive or want sex on their own. And so we go into these relationships like that, thinking that women are not sexual beings themselves, but then at the
Yes.
same time, we want them
Mhm.
to then figure out all the different ways to
Right.
That's what I'm
make
saying.
me,
That's what I'm saying. Like
right?
I think everybody needs to sow their oats and experience like
Well,
different things.
No.
You know?
That's
That
not what
makes
Right,
Dr.
sense.
hold
DL is saying.
right.
What he's saying that. Oof,
Wait, let
go
him
ahead.
finish.
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, because it's not about, because if it has to begin with self, right? Right, like you can sleep with 100,000 people and never figure out your own sexuality. Even within heterosexuality, you can sleep with a whole bunch of people. Doesn't mean, because sex is 90% mental, 10% physical. So if the 90% is not there, you're not ever gonna make it to orgasm. And that's for both men and women. For men, we get too often to try to make him coming as an orgasm. That's an ejaculation. If you play with it long enough, goddamn it, it's gonna ejaculate. Has nothing to do with orgasming, right? Right. And so
Right.
even for men, it has to be 90% mental for them to experience orgasm. But we always talk about the orgasm gap for women, but we don't talk about the orgasm gap for men, and we don't even have the conversation. We don't have the language to talk about the orgasm gap. But anyhow, and so it's not about the number of people, but it is about trying to act as if there's going to be a sexual Olympics one day, right? That there's going to be a sexual Olympics where she's going to get the goddamn
You need to
gold
get
medal,
training.
right?
Yep.
Right. All you got to do is figure out how to do it with me, and that means, as somebody said earlier, communication. You got to grow the hell up and talk about goddamn sex and what you into. If you want your
Exactly.
goddamn fingers, your toes to be tickled while she play with your goddamn head, and that's the thing that makes you right, you need to tell it. Right? I ain't gonna figure that out, right? I'm not gonna figure that combination. I ain't never
I'm
gonna goddamn
screaming.
figure out, right?
Exactly.
And so you need to
Right.
grow the hell up and have the grown-up conversation about what you
Right.
are curious about, what you want to experience, and to continue to
Exactly.
grow as people in your sexuality together, right? And so it goes down to communication and not the number of people,
100%.
because every woman get wet the same goddamn way, right? Every
Well,
woman
yeah,
that's
I was
born a
gonna
woman,
say.
and so
Yeah.
it's not about the curiosity thing. So that's what I got to say.
I
I
also feel
100%
like,
agree with that.
yeah, I also feel like it's important for us because you got some nasty individuals in this chat today. So I just want to say that for for
Talk about
like,
yourself,
women.
man.
I'm just kidding. You know what? You're right, Byron. You're right.
How dare you point that
I'm a very sexual person. I'm a very sexual person, and all my everybody who knows me knows that. Like, I own that. I don't make it 90% of my personality, but at the same time, like, I'm very vocal about what I like and what I don't like, regardless of who I'm talking to. Like, as long as they're pure, they know. So I think it's important for freaks like us to create a safe space for men to explore those kind of things. Like, when we do have those conversations, like you were saying, Dr. DL, like, I think how you phrase and how you word things whenever you even bring the conversation up is so important, because I noticed that in my experience, there are a lot of men that are hyper masculine, and they get a little bit afraid to do things that might seem a little bit around.
Pegging.
Yeah.
You talking about pegging. You into
you.
pegging, goddammit. That would it sound like.
I mean,
Maybe.
We going there today?
Oh wow.
anything involving a man's ass, they just automatically are just like, I don't know. And and so having that conversation and trying to make it like a safe space where you're not emasculating the man, and then it's the same in other, I feel like sometimes men just as soon as they feel like you're super sexual, they're like, oh, really? So what about a threesome? Like, they immediately throw that out there. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. So I tell you, I'm sexually open to things.
Yeah,
and
that
I love sex. And your first idea is to throw somebody else into it. Now, for some people, that might be amazing. And I didn't say I never did it, but I'm just saying, that's not the first thing that I want to, you already trying to throw another bitch in? Anyway, so yeah, I just was like, I think it's important that we
choose your character.
Right, I was like, hold up a minute. And then it's a 3-player game, 4-player game. Like, it's just a lot.
Because having a lot of bodies doesn't automatically make you a freak either. That just means you got a lot of bodies. You can sleep with 50 people and do the same boring shit with all 50 people. That's all.
It's true. That's true. It's true.
Vanilla babies.
It's just missionary with 50 different people.
That's how I Call of Duty.
I don't know. So I'm slightly indifferent with my sexual liberation, and I don't know. Maybe y'all can help me understand it. So right now I'm practicing celibacy. It is not by choice.
Explain.
It's not my choice.
Wait, why is it not my choice?
Well, actually, I can't. So the black population in San Antonio is only 6%, and black men out here don't date black women. Yeah, and I don't date outside my race. Even then, it could be not by choice, but I do have options. But I don't want those to be my options because it's a part of me wants my cheese clap, but the other part of me is just I'm emotionally unavailable right now, and it's in order for me, because I have values and shit, I be telling myself you gotta love these people, you have to be emotionally invested. However, because I'm emotionally unavailable, if they mess with my emotions, I may commit homicide, and then y'all can have to bail me out of jail. So it's just
you could be demisexual though. That's a thing. Demisexual people who can only orgasm with people they are emotionally invested in.
Oh yeah, I have a friend like
that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Not that. I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't have one night stands. They don't excite me. Yeah.
I'd be researching all kinds of random shit. I'm just. It's
real
real shit.
Yeah, I can't have one night stands. I don't do it. It's awkward. I'm why are you on me?
You're not there. You're mentally not there. And like he said earlier, it's 90% mental and 10% physical.
Right.
Yeah. So for you, you're not there.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that one, because I'm the thing where I literally I only could be comfortable and sleep with people that I know and I'm comfortable with too. So I am with you on that one. So with me, I'd rather go back and go to the old book or something and be oh hey, because I'm comfortable with this person for it to actually mean something too.
Oh, well, I don't do go back.
Me is just.
Well, no, I'm not saying that I do. But I'd rather go back than to meet some random person on the freaking street. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
like
but I don't.
yeah.
But I think some people
Agreed.
misconstrue what a one night stand is. Like,
Yeah.
you could go to a bar and then meet somebody and talk to them for 5 hours. Y'all could talk the whole night away,
Mm.
and then you fuck. Like,
Yeah, no.
now you know
This
the
is
No,
situation.
no,
one night
Get
No,
out.
but
Yeah.
the only prerequisite for a one night stand is literally y'all don't see each other again after sex.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
y'all gotta
That's
do is just
It
not
doesn't
see
mean
each
you
other
didn't take
again.
the time to get to know
It
each
doesn't
other.
matter what the circumstance
Sure.
is. It could be
Have had
Yeah, I
Could have
can't.
gone on the
whatever
first
it is.
date and then y'all had sex and then just
No,
didn't
no.
convene.
With me, I'm
Yeah,
saying on the
y'all had
first date,
sex and it
I
was
don't
just
know
like,
you well enough to
the
sleep with you.
personality was cool though.
No, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. I don't know you well enough to sleep with you, so I'm not comfortable, which means I'm not sleeping with you because it's not. I'm not. Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
No one night stands for Frankie. That's okay.
He's
that's
Yeah.
fine, bro. Like
Yeah, that's
me,
why Lee's all
I,
dry.
hey,
next to
I
me.
understand.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
Wait, I
how
think
I
I
Dr.
feel.
think
D.
Dr. D muted his mic a couple
Okay,
minutes
Dr.
ago.
Dia, go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was just laughing at what y'all was talking about because
right. He
literally,
wanted to share his laughter.
y'all not really had it like for me to personalize this conversation, so I'm gonna just go.
We not ready. What level are you on?
We are acquaintances. Y'all seem to be friends. We are not. I'm not sure where I want to be at with this yet. I'm not sure if I'm emotionally available to be there for the rest of
I
the
guess
To
should we move on to the final topic?
Yeah.
I
We
thought
could,
this was wedding. This ain't final topic.
yeah. There's a final part of this conversation about the
Oh,
family
okay.
and all that
It
stuff.
gets worse.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so the final part gets into like